Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Nation. It is the first episode of season 15! 15! I can't imagine that I figured at some point we'd probably end up having a save like this, but I guess if there was anyone it was going to be, it was this one. But I'm glad that we're all still here and all still having a nice time. We're on the page of Blaze Lisic. As you can see, new contract. £81,000 a week is what he's on now. He wanted a new deal. I felt like it was reasonable to try and give, but that was the minimum he would take. He really is demanding bid wages. But he is now, 5-year deal from here, all looking very nice. Yeah, and he's still here, which is the main thing. Still no more Poland caps, unfortunately, but what can you do about that? You'll notice his value is still 9 million. Unfortunately, we didn't get the transfer or the value upgrade that I was expecting and told about, so that's a bit annoying. Maybe that only counts when you get into, actually being 6th properly. I don't know. We are 6th, but maybe it's not until the next season. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. Buttload of stuff to discuss. Games off camera. We've got transfers. There's been some big moves in this summer as well. And then we're getting into our first game in the Champions League, which happens to be at home to Bayern Munich because we're a pot 2 team. Who'd have thunk it? Oh, well, there you go. But firstly, Iczek actually got called up to the Polish national team squad and got his first cap for Poland as well. So he's got 1 cap and Lisic has 2, because that's fair. The board also decided to forego the increase to the stadium that I was doing and just upgrade it completely now. So now the new upgrade, when it's finally finished, is going to be 24,234. Suddenly our stadium is going up in the world, lads. They also got us a new Backer shirt sponsor for 210k. Not a huge amount of money still. Our sponsors are still very low. Other teams in our group, in case you were wondering, are Feyenoord and FC Copenhagen. So that's kind of cool. Be nice to put one over the Dutch, frankly, at this point. And also playing a Danish team is always fun. We could just jump straight into transfers now, because that's a fun part. And then I've got quite a lot more stuff to talk about, as well as some more camera games. Okay, so first of the players that's coming is Rodrigo Montañez, who's coming from Valladolid for £4.1 million. I'd sign him up beforehand, but he's a defensive midfielder, brought in to try and strengthen that role, particularly as I've moved on at one of our defensive midfielders. But I wanted to make sure we still had some young options coming through. I really did try to go and find a world-class one, because I feel like that's one of our weaker points now. And there are players out there, but they're just so expensive, it's unreal. Next up is another youngster, another young Spaniard, Ferran Mirambel, who's coming from Girona in the end for £650,000. Just a left-back option. I'd sign him up, I think, earlier in the window as well. Not even in the window, but earlier on in the year. He's very, very short. He's just one of those players that had the potential at the time anyway, and he might be able to do well for other Spanish sides. I've actually not made a load of signings as such. We've only made 4 or 5 really. It's just been that I've tried to concentrate on certain areas specifically. Next up is another young attacking midfielder. This is Pimentinha, which is a pretty cool name. He's coming from Santos for £14 million, but he is 18 years old. I think there's a lot to like about this guy in terms of his future potential. My scouts originally had him scouted at his potential had the extra bit in here, so I thought this guy could seriously be something decent. Still only 18 years old. I think there's a lot to like. 14 million, I appreciate, is a lot, but at this stage, there's a very limited amount of players in our pool that are that sort of level that we could bring in. So 14 million for me was a reasonable amount to drop. Not a very good leader, and he does have a few shortfalls in his game, it's fair to say. Speaking of signing players from Santos, here's Vicente, and you might be thinking, Matt, you don't really need another attacking midfielder, and my answer to that would be you are correct, but sometimes players become available and you kind of find it difficult to say no. I've been tracking this guy for a while and I wasn't sure about him, but I was having a deeper look and look at his ability for the attacking midfield role and then tell me that we don't need him. 18 first touch, 17 long shots, 18 passing, 19 vision, every single, this guy is an absolute monster. So to have him, Treverio, and Gorosito, who has picked up quite a long injury, so just as well we did bring him in this squad, I think is only going to make us better. And he's agreed to a rotation squad status, so he's not even going to mind if we don't play him every week. He's cost us £22 million, which, again, might sound like a lot, but for the quality of player right there, I think buying him off of a European club would probably cost us over 100 million. So I still think, for the most part, it's a good piece of business. Tell a lie, it was 24.5 million. And finally, the only other signing we've actually made this summer is Paul Edelberg, who's coming from Celtic for £24 million. Now, the one downside you'll see about him, firstly, is his finishing. Undeniable, his finishing. However, we talked in the analysis video about why on earth Diego Restrepo had underperformed so badly. And some of you had some thoughts. Some of you suggested it was because he was not left-footed, but he was more likely to use his left foot and could play more inside forward, and I was trying to play him as a winger. Someone also suggested he had the poor passing ability, so maybe it was a bit of both. Who knows? Point is, I decided in the end that maybe we should just try and do a straight swap kind of thing. Now, this guy has got incredible physical stats, great crossing, dribbling, first touch. A lot of things I like about him is 6'2", only got the 8 finishing, which could be a problem, but I feel like in the long run, his other attributes might be more to what we want. It's cost us £24 million. He is a German international. The fact that Celtic were able to, the fact is, we got him from Celtic for 24 million. I still think that's a really decent deal, to be honest. When you look at some of the prices that some of the players floating around, we still have to operate in those markets. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about Diego Restrepo? More on him in a minute. because that is all we've done in terms of transfers in. I honestly think that we didn't need that much more, and there wasn't a lot out there, in all honesty. I've still got some money in the bank so we can look for some January stuff, of course, but I just wanted to kind of pick off little signings here and there. His determination is a little bit low, and that's one thing we are going to be working on, maybe, if we can. I don't know. So first player, gone. Mateusz Zwigawa has joined Lechia Gdansk on loan for the season, and I'm really pleased for him. They came in with a bid, and I thought, yes! I wished it was Katowice, but they didn't come in for him, but Lechia did, and so far he's got 4 goals and 1 assist in 7 league starts to them, and is having a bloody good time over there, and that is incredibly pleasing to me. I'm super happy for Mateusz. So playing out there for Lechia Gdansk, I think they're playing almost all of his contract as well, which I was happy to let them do because it's Matty. It's Matty. The other big loan was Federico Grandi. I decided that I would loan him out as well, mainly because Milan came in and said, we'll give you all of his wages plus £170,000 a month. And I thought, yeah, all right then, let's have a bang on that one. So Grandi's gone out to Milan. Don't know how he's done so far. He's scored a hat-trick in the Champions League for them already. It suggests he's doing all right, and he's got 3 goals in 4 league matches too. They might want to buy him at the end of the season, and I'd be all right with that. Tariq Abdelrahim has gone out on loan to Getafe. Ahmed Mufta has gone out on loan to Pexval, still here of course. Radu Ardeleyan has gone out on loan to Katowice for the season. I was pretty pleased to have that one go through so that Katowice could have a bit of help in Europe, because he's just not working out here. Patrick Malets, who was on loan at Katowice last year, has gone out on loan to Wisła in the 2nd tier this time, because I really do feel like he could have a good season playing in the 2nd tier and getting a bit more experience. So yeah, he's gone. Mamadou Boateng has also gone out on loan to Lechia, so they really have picked up a lot of our top young talent, and that is incredibly pleasing. I expect them to do big things this year. Eichelkamp has gone out on loan to Heerenveen. Jez Norris has gone to Swansea for a season after a really good year at Rakov. Next up is an out. Jacobo Garcia has left. He's gone permanently to Inter Milan. The reason for this was his contract was up at the end of the season. I did have a look at offering him, but he wanted an awful lot of money, and I just felt that maybe we should just move him out and shuffle around some more space, particularly with some of the likes of Francisco coming through, and with Itzhak. I just felt that it was the right move at the time. It's only 5.25 million, but it does have that clause in the contract as well. He's played 155 times for us, but I just felt like it was the right move for us at the time. He's got a 50% of next sale fee clause, which is the most important thing, particularly with his current value being so high. I feel like we'll reap the benefits of this down the road. Also going out is Ignacio Bonavento, who's gone out to Porto at the end of... Yeah, it just felt like the right move for him in the end, because we don't play that system very often, and when we do, Silva's going to have that role, and we've got youngsters coming through. I felt like it was the good time for him to move. 6.25 million, of course, with a 50% of next sale fee clause in there as well, which is always very nice. Speaking of those clauses, Leipzig, they came in and said, we'd like to sell you, we'd like to buy Opritish's clause off of you, and I thought, brilliant, and then I saw the sum. What was it? £20 million. They gave us £20 million for Jonas Oprich, which means the cost of that deal has now risen to nearly £30 million, and that is why I like those contracts. They're so useful for this kind of thing when you just get free money later down the line. And last but not least, Diego Restrepo has left and he's joined Liverpool. Originally, I was looking at selling him maybe if someone put the right kind of bid in and we could find a replacement. Then I found Edelberg and I thought, okay, maybe this could work. But people were only putting £12 million bids in. Comes to sort of later in the window, and all of a sudden, the big European teams, mostly the English sides, are swarming around this guy, and I'm like, right, let's start a bidding war. Eventually, the deal was settled. £25 million to Liverpool. They bid at the final moment. I thought, right, let's have this one. And yeah, I mean, 50% of next sale fee clause in there as well. I'd love to see how he does with him. His passing wasn't that bad. Very strong and strong. Yeah, I can see what you mean. Maybe he was more used to using that left foot, and maybe that did pull him back a little bit. Hopefully, Edelberg will be what we've needed in that role. But Restrepo's finishing, you know, he had good finishing, but he just never actually got the chance to finish goals last season for us. So good luck to the lad at Liverpool. Hopefully we'll get lots of money for him down the line, is all I can say about that. We also got £8 million because Mark Stamler was sold to Spurs. I mean, Mark Stamler has just made us £8 million. What more do you want? Pereira also won the Golden Boot at the Olympics. And in quite more important news in a way, Lech Poznan did manage to get to the Champions League group stages. They knocked out Rangers fairly comfortably, and I can't remember who the other team was that they beat. I think it was Besiktas, fairly easily, in fact, in the end. But they did get an incredibly tough group, if I remember correctly, but that kind of sucks. However, as for the Europa League, I didn't quite get what I wanted, but Lechia got through, as did GKS. Legia did not, unfortunately. They got dicked on by Shakhtar. But the fact is, Katowice beat Marseille in the qualifiers. They got a 0-0 draw at the Stade Velodrome and then beat them 2-1 in Poland. And that, to me, was a huge statement of intent. So we've got 2 teams in the Europa League and 2 teams in the Champions League, which to me is a much better showing, hopefully, this year than last year. Even if Lech balls it up, but still, they actually got there, which is good for the points. I hope that our other teams can actually get through the Europa League this time around, because they've got some pretty solid groups because they keep qualifying for it. It's very, very pleasing. And we started off at home against Lechia. Was a winnable game, obviously, but it took Firmino's goal and the own goal to get us the victory. Firmino, of course, doing what he does. Match day 2, and it was more of the same. A 2-0 victory, goals from Fopossi and Firmino, again filling in for Pereira while he was away at the Olympics. But as you can see, the scoreline's fairly close. Firmino's penalty and Kelvin Fopossi again giving us a 2-1 victory over Swansk. Things did finally start to pick up though once we got into August. A 3-0 victory over Lubin. Goals for Gorosito, Falvella and Fopossi. Falvella did want to leave. A lot of clubs came calling, but I thought, you know what? Best for us if we just keep him around. Then things really started to take off. A 6-0 thrashing of Wisła. It could have been 7. Pereira got a goal. Falvella got a goal. Treverio got a goal. 2 for Fopossi, 1 for Gorosito, and Lisic missed a penalty. But then a 4-0 over Zag kept things going up. This time Lisic did score. 1 for Treverio, 1 for Fopossi, 1 for Ibrahima Pereira. In a very short space of time, we just smashed 4 goals past him. Then another 4-0 victory, this time over Arca. A pair for Lisic, 1 for Pereira, and 1 for Treverio. Good stuff. But as you can see, Shabal and Gorosito both got injured in this game, and they're both going to miss at least 5-6 weeks, and that is bad. As you can see, Shabal, actually, he'll be back in 8 days. He got sprained ankle ligaments. And Gorosito got a hamstring strain and is going to be out for another 2 weeks or so. So he's still going to miss a Champions League game or 2. And last but not least, a rested team played a 1-0 victory over Skra. Goal from Firmino from the penalty spot, of course. Great performance. 8 wins out of 8. I mean, let's be honest, were you really expecting anything different? Lech Poznan, again, though, 7 wins out of 8 so far from them. They are doing what they do. They are starting to establish themselves, to me, as a comfortable second-place team in Poland now. Lechia, Legia, both up there as well. Katowice! We need to talk, lads. What are you doing? They're down in 14th place and are having a shitty season. It does concern me somewhat that they are in this position. Fopossi, though, has had an insane start. 6 goals in the league, 4 Man of the Match awards already. He really is coming into his own this year. Best player on the team by miles. Lisic already has 5 assists on the year, though. It's all very, very good. We still need a lot of work to do, but it is pleasing at least. Wodge as well. I said last year that they looked like they were underperforming their stats. This year, they're currently sitting 6th in the league and having a really good start to the year. I think they could be a surprise package if they keep their manager. My guess is, though, they'll probably replace him with Wojciech Szczesny and sell their manager to Katowice. That's usually how things go. But today, let's go for a bit of Bayern Munich fun, shall we? As you can see, the other teams in Lech Poznan's group, actually, yeah, Ajax, Arsenal and Porto. They've got 2 of our big rival countries in there too, which does not really help us in any way. We've got Bayern today at home, probably the second hardest game in the group, you'd have to argue. So we need to come up and show a bit, because they're the seeded team in this group. Despite us being in 2 consecutive Champions League finals. What are we going to do, lads? So we're not playing that system. Hell to the no. But we are playing this one because we're the home team. Let's shuffle things around a little bit. Pereira, Lisic, Treverio, Fopossi, Orozco? Oh no, he can't be Gorosito because he can't play, can he? That's frustrating. Silva, of course. Albarracin, Falvella, Lama. Oh, wait, where's Alberto? Come on, mate. Alberto's starting this. And the Lama, I love you, mate, but you're not quite there yet. Olivier, of course, will have to start because of the lack of Shabal. Yeah, it's not great. Maka's still there, though, which is nice. And Iglesias, of course, in goal. On the bench, we're going to go with Edelberg, Rosa, Waterberg, Firmino, Opoku, Lamas, and Vicente. Hopefully this should be all right for us. Bernd Peters. I swear that was the Leipzig goalkeeper last season. Yep, yes, he was. Bayern bought him off of Leipzig for £51 million. Oh dear. Now, I believe we're the favourites, and we kind of need to go and show it. We need to set out our stall nice and early in the Champions League group. Go and get an early victory. Just get going nice and early. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Due to the stadium upgrades as well, we're playing all our games at the Pepsi Arena, which means nice large attendances, I suppose, but it means we do have to play on our main rival's ground, Orozco. Men surging forward. Pereira's one of them. He's in. Oh, good strike, good save from Peters, but it's nice work again getting forward there. How is that not a chance? Oh, Lech Poznan have just taken the lead against Porto. Maybe Poland is about to break out of the world here. Lisic, what about this from Blaise Lisic? Go on, son. Oh, he's got it, though. Pereira, they're still going forward. Pereira's into the box, and that is a terrible piece of play there from Ugush. And that could be, I assume, just a yellow card, you'd feel. Back out wide for Olivier. Can he whip it across for Swan? He can't. Oh, God. That had to be a goal. He's put that... Oh, it is a bit concerned that we've missed a couple of chances here. Lech Poznan are 2-0 up in the Champions League against FC Porto. What is going on there? Brilliant stuff. Albarracin keeps it in. Fopossi, go on, breakaway, lads. Fopossi just driving in the midfield. They're not stopping him. They're still not stopping him. Treverio's all the way through. Oh my giddy aunt. Wow. Treverio grabs his 4th goal of the season, and that all came from Kelvin Fopossi not knowing when to say no. He just keeps on driving. The Bayern defenders are like, shall we? Nope. Eventually, none of them do anything. It's a bit fortunate with the pass, but this is incredible from Treverio, just driving forward and smashing it into the back of the net. 1-0 to Polonia Warszawa, and we've deserved that. We've been great so far. Well done, lads. Fopossi. Goes to the edge of the box for Olivier. Not who you'd expect to be in there for Fopossi. Pereira makes it 2-0. Fopossi's grabbed himself a pair of assists in the Champions League. He did this, I swear, in a game last season too, where he was just creating everything. Pereira grabs his 4th goal of the year, and it wouldn't be a Champions League night without Ibrahima Pereira scoring himself a goal now, was it? Olivier drops it through. Fopossi dinks one in. There's Pereira with the header. Goalkeeper should do a lot better there. We're 2-0 up over Bayern. Come on. don't concede a goal before half-time. Lech Poznan are 3-0 up against Porto in the Champions League. I mean, you can see what I mean about how they were easily able to sweep aside a team like Besiktas in the end. Oh my God. Why always me? What are you doing, Iglesias? Like, you can be my hero, but maybe not today. Keshkin is a ball in, and then he's just... Oh, dear. Freitas, I mean, why is the goalkeeper coming for that? Freitas has to deal with that easily, and then... The other good thing for Poznan as well is that the other teams in their group are tied at 0-0, which is actually going to put them top of the group as things stand, and quite comfortably so as well with the goal difference for Posse. Orozco. Need a third goal to really wrap this, or not wrap this up as such, but oh my God, he's going through again! Where's this come from? He wasn't doing that last year. He's suddenly exhibiting this wonderful ability to just drive through the middle of defences that he wasn't doing last year. For Posse coming all the way through. Lisek! Saved by the goalkeeper. Really nice work again, though. We've really stepped it up a notch. Albarracin, second half has been all us so far, which is very pleasing. Treverio coming through again for Posse. Saved by Peters. And Feyenoord beating FC Copenhagen. Not that that's a huge surprise. I would have been amazed if they'd actually dropped points there. Lisek. Orozco! Over the crossbar again. Like, I've been very impressed with the performance as a whole tonight. It's just frustrating to only be 2-1 up in this at the moment. Olivier, ball in. Waterberg! Saved by Peters. Oh, God! How have we not scored more goals? Come on, lads. Find a third goal. Kill this off. Pereira driving inside. Waterberg. And it's a good header, but not good enough. Lech Poznan are 4-0 up, by the way. I think this might be the year that Polish teams really mark themselves on the map here. A 4-0 victory over Porto is nothing to be sniffed at whatsoever. That is a huge result. That's going to give them a massive chance of getting third in their group at least. Keshkin, oh please no. Oh, good lord. See this game out for as long as you can now. Olivier. And it's... Oh, it could be a penalty, actually. It could well be a penalty to us. Yes, we've won one. And Edelberg... Yeah, we're shoved. Who will take it? Vicente. Oh, hello. I think this is going to be the last kick of the game no matter what happens, but it would be nice to grab a third goal, just because it could give us a better head-to-head. Vicente steps up, slips it down the bottom corner. Really nice finish from that. His first ever goal for Polonia Warszawa, and there we go. It's 3-1 over Bayern. We've deserved that victory. On the night, we've been fantastic, particularly in the second half for whatever reason. I didn't change anything as far as I know, but we really have got much, much better and thoroughly deserved that victory. Come on. And there we go. Polonia 3, Bayern Munich 1. Goals from Treverio, Ibihirima Pereira, and a Vicente penalty in the 93rd minute, wrapping up the night for us. But the key thing is, congratulations to Lech Poznan on their 4-0 victory over FC Porto. That surely has already put them in prime position to go and grab themselves third spot and actually do something this year. Sensational stuff, lads. Never know what they can do against the other teams, frankly. I must admit, it still disappointed me a little bit that we weren't able to grab a couple more goals in that second half when we were really on top. It would have been very frustrating had they grabbed another chance, considering the goal that they did score. But to me, that really does show that we've got pure European title potential again this year. Bayern Munich, first seed in our group. We've comfortably swept them aside 3-1 in the end. Really good stuff. Other teams in our group, Feyenoord, if they could only just beat Copenhagen 1-0, then I feel like we might be all right against Feyenoord. But you never know. So, next episode... obviously, is going to be, well, two slightly easier games away in Denmark and, of course, at home to Feyenoord is going to be very, very interesting. I want 9 points on the board. This time around, I want to get the maximum points available in this group so we can really push. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode and you're looking forward to the new season, and I really hope you are, we've won every single game so far this year. Let's keep that on track as we move into the next episode. Yeah, drop a like. That'll be fantastic if you're still enjoying the series. I really am relying on that to sort of gauge where we're going with this at the moment. So yeah, and it helps us in the algorithm as well. And yeah, so do that. And if you're new to the channel, of course, hit that subscribe button. That'd be brilliant too. And I'll join you guys in the next episode for a pair of headers, a pair of games against FC Copenhagen and, of course, Feyenoord. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.